Hello and welcome at George Enescu International Festival.
Thank you.
We are very honored to have you here, and we are thrilled about this festival because for a month we hear such great artists and such great music on stage. And also we have the young musicians that want to do something with their career in life, but and see all these wonderful concerts and the wonderful artists on stage smiling, and everything is okay when during the concert, but most of them wonder about how hard it is to get famous or to get on stage, and the public being just thrilled to see the artist. So I want you to share your experience, your life experience during your career, and talk mostly about the bad moments, let's say, and how did you get along with them?
That's unusual. It's an unusual ask.
Yes.
Bad moments.
Yes.
Well, in my experience, I had some physical problem. I've broken my right shoulder, not the shoulder. I've broken the tendons of the right shoulder. For a conductor, this is a disaster. I also broken my Achilles tendon because of the tennis.
Yeah.
In both cases, it was a long rehabilitation. And in both cases, I didn't stop conducting. When I broken the shoulder, I was conducting using the left hand, left arm. But you know, it's also the treatment that you get, the fact that the surgery is something that is something hard to leave, and the following months have been difficult.
Yeah.
I remember that I was asking me why it happened to me, you know, as people that has much more serious illness are often asking. Well, it was 6 years ago, now it's over. Well, I think in music, and what I would recommend to all young musicians is that never stop in believing in ourselves. Always think in a positive way. I'm able to do it.
Yes,
I will be able to do it. I will come out of this. There will be, with the time helps a lot.
Yes.
Sorry for, it's a stupid consideration, but it is true.
It is true, yes, and I want to emphasize this by asking you the bad moments, because you've been through a very tough moment by this, and I'm sure that, as you said, you've asked yourself, why did this happen to me? And surely there are many more questions. And how will I survive to this? Will this end my career? But as you said, you have to believe in you and yourself, and you have to be very strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very important.
Yes. Yeah.
To be stronger. Also, you know, it's not. This is a physical thing, but in a life of an artist, there are many other problems. A career can be a down low moment. It's not always, you know, shining, and it's not you know, believe me. I had a very important uncle, one of the greatest conductor ever. And I remember that even for him, there were moments that in his career that he had some difficulties. That's just to say that it happens to everyone, really everyone. Well, in those moments, again, never stop to believe, never stop to practice or studying score in the case of conductor. Always be extremely determined, and always never lose the focus.
Yeah. You had this wonderful conductor in your life, your uncle Claudio Abbado. What did you learn from him, or how did you look at him singing on stage and being successful?
I remember he was somebody, he had a great discipline, great discipline. People, I don't remember him when he started his career. I was a kid. But I studied with some of his teachers, or some of my teachers were friends with his teachers. So they were saying that when he was very young, he didn't show a great talent for conducting. He was a very good pianist. And some of them said to my grandfather, his father, it would be better that if he continued his career as a pianist, not as a conductor.
Yeah.
But he knew what he wanted to do. So again, I think something important is to listen to ourselves, listen to our desires, believe that it is possible, and work
Yes.
strongly.
Yeah, yeah. And also, as a public, we always look at you, artists, and expecting to do the best of you on stage. And some of the times we don't think that you have problems, you have thoughts, you have perhaps a bad day. You always come on stage, smile, and bring us to your world, your emotional world, your wonderful musical world. How do you do this?
You know, you said you had a bad day, you come on stage, you smile, which is true. Not necessarily after a bad day there will be a bad concert or a bad performance.
Yes.
Sometimes it's vice versa, and or also vice versa.
Yes.
Fantastic day, then you come on stage, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's very strange. It's very unpredictable to be on stage, and the level, the quality of a performance is very unpredictable. The great conductor, Italian conductor Arturo Toscanini was saying that if a conductor prepares very well a concert with the orchestra or an opera with the singers and the orchestra, it can't be bad. This is what he said. It will be, of course, it will be something notable. I'm not completely in accord with him in this, you know, because you can prepare very well and you are expecting that things will be really good, but especially in the opera world, you never know. Yeah. You never know. So sometimes, you know, it's a crazy world. Yes. For example, you know, I'm fascinated by Formula One. Not because, you know, I love cars, things like that, because that's another very unpredictable world. A car can be a disaster during the days where they are turning, and then be fantastic during the competition, or vice versa. In music, sometimes is also like that. Yeah,
yeah, true. And also thinking about that, our public now is the young generation. And perhaps there are some of them who wants to become a conductor. What is a conductor? Because he has to be a good leader, a very good psychologist, of course, a very good musician, and a very good artist, of course. But how do you go in front of a new orchestra, or how do you prepare to face a new orchestra? Because every individual is very different from the orchestra.
Well, as you said, the first thing to do, the most important thing is to bring people together. I think the conductor has to have an idea, a concept of what he wants to do. in terms of meaning of the piece that is conducting, what is inside the piece, what kind of sound he wants, and he has to have that sound in her mind, in his mind,
Yes.
or her mind. And the conductor has to be very prepared, I mean, knowing the score,
Yeah.
knowing, there are millions of informations in the
Yes.
score.
Yeah.
And that's, I have to say, I confess that sometimes it's quite, to learn all these informations that you have to know.
Yes.
But it takes a lot of time, it's tiring, unless, and there are cases, the people that really can read like this and absorb those that have a photographic memory,
yes.
and they have the memory printed in the brain.
Yeah.
But those cases exist, but are not very common.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have that. I have to spend time, and it's hard.
Yes, it's hard. Yes, and of course for a young conductor that it's at, let's say, at the university,
Yes.
and they didn't face any orchestra by then, and they are with the score and just listening a recording,
Yes.
and they think that they know all the score and go in front orchestra, but they get scared. What do you do in that moment? Because every young conductor has this very first moment. What did you do when you were, for the first time in your life, in front of your orchestra?
Well, it's not just the first time that, because we have to avoid the fear. That should not exist. Because the self-confidence is also very important.
Yeah.
And you said that to listen to recordings, okay, this is an advantage that we have today, but conductors, musicians of 100 years ago don't had that.
Yes.
And it was possible at that time to make great performances, interpretation, and so on. So I would encourage you to stay at the piano, in my case, because I am a pianist, but a piano can help a lot because it's a very complete instrument, and because you can hear the harmony. In my case, I have some problems with the harmony, so I really need the piano to analyze and understand how the harmonic word of the piece is working, how the keys are oriented, which is the most important key. If there are other keys that are less important, how they orient themselves like a magnet sometimes. So I needed a piano, I think, or I would say an instrument. Generally, it's not important to play the piano, to play the piece like you are performing in a concert. Like, it's not important to play well. It's important to play something. Also, it's important, I think, to play an instrument, to be a conductor, to play. It's not important which instrument, but to know the problems that a musician is facing to make a sound, to make a phrase, to solve a difficult passage, how to study, to learn a difficult passage, because then it's similar to all instruments, that mentality.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, you did.
Probably I've lost the question.
Yes, you did. And my next question is how you make the orchestra love you.
I also don't think that's an important goal, to be loved. The important goal is to be respected. If they respected and also love, okay, that's even better. But the important thing is to be respected. Of course, not to be hated. That's a terrible thing.
Yes. Yeah.
But already when musicians have respect for the conductor, well, that's we achieved one of the goals, I think.
Yes, because I don't think it's an easy thing to go in front of an orchestra, because you conduct many orchestras and every orchestra is very different. And I think you have to have this ability to adapt to each orchestra.
Sure.
Yes, and try to bring respect to them, and also they have to respect you.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also necessary to have some flexibility. I personally think that music is something flexible. Music is like a body, and that has to breathe.
Yes.
Music has to breathe. It's
Yeah.
something alive. Phrases
Yeah.
have to, the phrase has to breathe, and it's an alive body.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, true. How important is, because I've asked many young musicians what they like most, and they all answered that they just love music and they only make music in life. How important is to do different things, to read, to go to theater, to go to opera, or do other things than music? How important is?
Well, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is very important.
Yeah.
And also because each composer and each work of a composer is part of a process
Yes.
that is influenced by the actual life, the contemporary
Yes.
life, and what happened in the past. If we think the major composers, I don't know, let's take the case of Johannes Brahms, a man that had a very wide mentality, and how much his musical world have been influenced by Beethoven, by Bach, by Schütz, by Baroque composers generally, and how much the other Romantic has influenced him, or Giuseppe Verdi, a contemporary of Brahms, similar case, completely different music, but similar case. People that were able to absorb their time and the past time, not just in music, but in all arts.
Yes.
And in history. History is so important to understand where we are in the life of the human being development.
Yes.
And to put this in the right place.
Yeah.
Well, you know, both Brahms and Verdi, for me, they were like barmans with a shaker.
Yes.
They were putting the ingredients in a perfect way, then shake.
Yeah.
And what is coming out, you don't recognize that this is Bach, or this is, in case of Verdi, this is a Rossini, or this is a Palestrina, or this is,
Yes.
you just have something new, but that is the heritage, it comes from the heritage that we got. And same thing, you know, I think a musician is a sort of archaeologist. It's a different material, but the mentality is the same. When an archaeologist finds a piece of a vase, a piece of terracotta, we call, and start to understand from that piece, little piece, how it was, the form, how it was painted, what culture it belongs, why it is like that, because the vase has been founded, so let's say in Sicily, but that shows that it has some influences from the Phoenicians, and then you start to think how they were traveled, how different cultures were in contact. And then at the end, you can reconstruct how the probably the vase it was. Well, an interpreter does a similar work.
Yeah.
We have something in our score, and we have to understand what is inside the score, what is behind the score, and why the composer has done it that way.
Yes, yeah, wonderful. Yeah. In the end, I want you to tell something to the young generations, to encourage them perhaps to trust their instincts, to trust their talent, and do something important in their lives.
I think a young musician each young musician has a big potential inside. And to show the potential, it requires the combination of many things. One for sure is the serious work done every day at home. And the other one is the relation with the other young musicians or older musicians, in other words, make experience. And the very important is also the believe in itself.
Yeah.
And never give up. Always be strong. There are difficult moments, and there is no difficult moment that can't be solved, can't be solved. I think it's okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.